What is up? It's Hobbyist First with another Army Showcase video. This one is for Star Wars Legion, and it's a Republic Army loosely based around the Defenders of Kashyyyk in Star Wars Episode 3, Revenge of the Sith. Here's a support unit. This is the Wookiee Fluttercraft. It's a plastic kit. Has two crewmen. One is a pilot. He's got his flight goggles on. And then there's a gunner on the back operating a bowcaster. I painted this up to have a wood grain effect, which you can see on all the brown parts, including this structure on the top. And the rest of the metal was just done as like an aged steel. On the bottom, notice some vegetation, which will be common throughout the Army. The next support unit is a bark speeder, painted in the common light gray of the Republic vehicles, but this time I use a dark green for the colored elements to tie it in with the rest of the 41st Elite clones. Got a camo scheme on the driver and some elements of weathering so that the speeder looks like it was careening through the woods. A Wookiee army is going to have several Special Forces units, hopefully, filling out those Wookiee slots. This first unit is Wookiee Warriors, Kashyyyk Defenders. These are your shooty Wookiees. They're armed with some rifles, and you see on the outside there are the two shooty options, the Wookiee long gun, and then the troopers. Here's the unit leader. And this is one of the older soft plastic Wookiees. This is the bowcaster for the unit. The second Special Forces unit are Wookiee Warriors Noble Fighters, and these are the melee Wookiees. They also have a long gun Wookiee option, but he's often not used in favor of the Battle Shield Wookiee. Here's the unit leader, and these guys are armed with reek blades and pistols. This is a soft plastic Wookiee from the older set, and here's a Battle Shield Wookiee. This is the third unit of Wookiee Warriors Noble Fighters. They have a bowcaster as a heavy option, and then here are more of those melee Wookiees. I mixed in one box of the soft plastic older Wookiees just to get some varied sculpts, because I knew I was going to be building 3 units. Here's that Battle Shield Wookiee. Looking at core units, start off with 3 squads of Phase 2 Clone Troopers. Majority of these are made using the Phase 1 soft plastic bodies with some 3D printed or ARC Trooper sourced helmets for Phase 2. This squad here has an upgraded Z6. Here's a bare bones squad of 4 Phase 2 troopers. The unit leader is a 3D printed miniature that was painted in my camo clone tutorial video. And this last squad is 4 guys with a Z6. The Scout Clone Troopers are used as Phase 1 clones in my army, and they come courtesy of a few different digital sculptors and our resin 3D prints that I found on Etsy and eBay. I'm using this guy to represent Phase 1 upgraded with a DC-15, but I could also use him to represent Echo. just the one operative. I'm using this 3D printed astromech to represent R2 rules-wise, but it's colored green, so it could be the personal astromech of any of the other Jedi that are present at the Battle of Kashyyyk. I have several commander models. This first one is a 3D print to represent Commander Gree. And in the game, I could either play him as a generic clone commander or explore the rules for Rex or Cody. Two options for Wookiee commanders. On the right is Chewbacca, and on the left is a generic Wookiee chieftain. Chewbacca's mini is one of the older soft plastic sculpts, and definitely next to one of the newer hard plastic kits. The detail is not as crisp. And you can see his modern Wookiee counterpart. It's a lot more pronounced fur. It's a little taller as well. Finish up with commanders, looking at the 3 Jedi that were likely present for the Battle of Kashyyyk. You'll see Yoda on the right. This next one is Luminara Unduli. She is the Jedi in charge of the 41st clones, and she is a 3D printed miniature. And this is her Padawan, Barriss Offee. See that? Tried my best to paint the tattoos on their faces and hands, and I even got the black nails painted on that outstretched hand. I wish at some point they'd release an all-Wookiee battle force, which would allow me to use my Wookiee troopers and not rely on clones to fill out the required core slots. Down the road, I could see adding additional fluttercraft, and definitely would love to paint up some more units of Wookiees. Thank you so much for watching, and if you like what you saw here, consider subscribing. And if you're interested in the camo scheme that was used for the clones, I do have a separate video on the channel where I show step-by-step how to paint a Phase 2 and one of these Scout Clone Troopers. I appreciate you watching. Thanks so much. Take care.